So you now have a couple of videos and you're about to hand over some of your hard-earned money to an editor who promises flashy edits, transitions, all kinds of pings and pongs and cool stuff that you see in other videos. But before you do that, I need you to watch this video because let's talk about a couple of things that you need to consider before you hire any editor at all. Why hire an editor in the first place? Well, the reality is editing can really elevate the quality of your content. It can make sure that you get seen by the right people, but it's also a very tough skill. So of course you can do it yourself, you can DIY it, or you can outsource it. But how do you know which one's the right editor for you? Because the prices will vary, the way they market themselves will also vary. How do you know which one is the right one for you? Well, the first thing to ask yourself is what kind of content do you want to create and who do you create it for? Once you have a bit of an idea about who your audience is and what type of content you create and maybe you have a bit of a style that you like, the easier it will be to find people. You can hop on all kinds of platforms out there like a Fiverr or an Upwork or YouTube Jobs, or sometimes people just find you. I often get messages on LinkedIn of somebody who will say something like this: "Hello, Jory." Jory, that's not how you spell my name, it's Yuri. "I am the founder of this and this company. I came to know about you on LinkedIn and saw your video and it looks good with the content. They like my stuff, but the editing needs to be improved." What? We've edited over 600 videos and have satisfied more than 10 clients. Could you give us a chance to edit your videos? You could check out our works here. And often that leads to a website or YouTube channel or maybe an Instagram channel with so many examples. You can get a bit of an idea about what kind of editing that they do. The problem with editors is there's a lot of people who promise good, fast and cheap. And as you know, that doesn't exist, right? When it's good and fast, it probably won't be cheap. And when it's fast and cheap, it probably won't be good, etc., etc. And you can often tell by the things that they offer. If they offer a little bit of everything, like SEO and web design and video editing and audio corrections, etc., etc., the question is, how good will they be at any of those if they kind of spread themselves that thin? So now we've got that out of the way, let's look at some of the questions you need to ask yourself before you hire an editor. What kind of editing do you want? What kind of style do you want? Maybe you can bring a couple of examples. You could show things you've seen others doing. You kind of go, I like this kind of style, or maybe I like that kind of style. How much work do you have? Many will say they want to hire a full-time editor, but do you have enough work for them to do? It would be such a waste on both sides and of resources if you hire somebody when you only have a couple of hours a week for them. Maybe you want to hire people more on a project basis or maybe on an hourly basis. Which leads me to a next one. How much budget do you have? Now, if you get started, you might not have an idea about how editors charge. And the reality is, like with anything else, the prices will vary. There's some really expensive editing, there's really cheap editing as well. But I think it'd be good if you do a bit of a comparison, you have a bit of a budget that you want to spend. Let's say that you have a revenue of $3,000 a month. Could you spend $500 of that budget on something like your video content, if that's important to you? But it's good to have a bit of an idea before you get into this. Have you seen their portfolio? They will probably have something on a YouTube or on a Instagram or maybe on a Behance, but have you seen some of their work? One thing to watch out for, there's a lot of people online that use other people's work. They might have an example on their website showing their work, and later on you find out it's not actually a video that they did, it's something that somebody else did, which is, I think, a bit shitty, but something for you to consider. Have you got a sample? Something I like to do is have a 30-second video clip ready, something that I can kind of send out to people and say, do something with this. And I'll see, some of them will hop on my YouTube channel and kind of copy the style that's over there, maybe some of the fonts and colors, maybe they give their own spin to it, whatever it is. But it's good to see a sample of how they work and this avoids them sending in some generic work. The next one then, of course, is can you pay them? And I don't mean this in a way of, do you have enough money to pay them? Because I don't know how much money you have and I don't know how much you want to spend on that. I'm talking more about, can you pay them? There will be people online in different countries. Do they have a Stripe account or PayPal account? Or do they want you to bring over a bag of cash or something? Like, I don't know how that works. But it's good to find out quickly how they get paid. What is their means of getting paid? IP and legal. Now, I'm in the Netherlands. We are very strict around things like your intellectual property, copyright and things like that. There are countries around the world that don't really care about that. Like, it doesn't really matter. They can use whatever song they want. They can throw it onto anything because the legal system isn't set up for that way. That could be a challenge because if somebody, let's say, puts music on your video that's copyrighted, by the time you upload it on your social channels, you might get flagged. So making sure with somebody who is at the same level as you when it comes to the legalities of your content and that you respect other creators and the content that you put out there. And this one is a really big one. Do they get you? They don't have to be the same as you, but do they get your vibes? Do they kind of understand what it is that you stand for? Do they get the energy that you put out there. Because I believe in a world where there's a billion bits of content uploaded every day. The way to stand out is by being a bit of you, by adding a bit of your own kind of pizzazz in there. And even though somebody else might be doing the editing for you, it's important that they retain that. And for them to retain that, you need to kind of understand a bit of who you are and how you speak and how you create content. Having said that, here are a couple of lessons from mistakes I have made in the past. Lesson number one, always chat face to face. I understand some people are not comfortable talking face to face, even when it's in an online setting, but I can tell so much more from somebody when I have a chat with them. I mean, get to know each other a little bit, maybe have a bit of banter, or really work with the entire relationship, and it will always show in the quality of the work that comes out. Number two, be clear and prescriptive. If you have a script about this is what I want to say first, then that, then that, then that, provide that script early on. If you have an example of what you want something to look like, bring that to the table as well. The clearer you are about what is it you're looking for, the easier it will be. Once they get what you do and they've worked with you more, they'll get that. Third one, cordon off time and scope. I've made this mistake by giving somebody a video assignment which I thought was just going to take a couple of hours, and then I got a bill for this many hours, and it kind of went, oh shit, I did not see that one coming. If I had kind of been a bit clearer about the scope of work, saying for instance something like, I've got this much budget, can you work within this? Maybe that's a conversation you can have before. This one is going to sound a little bit weird. Process over results. Once you have a process in place about how you like to work with each other, I will send a script, send a Loom video explaining what the video is about, how I want it to flow. They will go work on that. Maybe for somebody else it works completely differently. Find something that works for both of you, and then once you have that, maybe solidify that process in a little document, a little checklist, something that makes it easier for both of you. And the fifth one, I can't say this enough, I want you to think partnership. The best people I work with, I've been working with for over a decade. We've learned from each other, we've given each other feedback, we've patted each other on the back. Some of them I've even met several times. It's a partnership. When I work with people, I want to go further than just a transactional, here's a bit of money, you do this for me. Because that's really how you can grow and they can grow as well. These considerations will make sure that you're on the right track. I've left a little downloadable underneath this video, you can download it there. But if you haven't even started creating videos and you want to get something going, but you're a bit nervous to be on camera, I've got a video over here which will give you some super simple tactics to get over that camera cringe and start creating videos like a bad boy or girl, something like that.